They said, the end of time would come quietly. No thunder, no warning, just silence. But look around, the signs are already here. Whispers from ancient prophets. Visions seen by men who lived and died centuries apart. And yet, every one of them spoke of this same moment. Now, humanity stands trembling. At the edge of something far greater than we can ever understand. Maybe, this isn't the end of the world. Maybe, it's the birth of another. The signs of the last age, known as the great signs of the end of time, mark the era that is called the Age of Trials. In the books of Hadith, this is referred to as Bab al-Fitan, the chapter of tribulations. There were two famous prophetic figures, one among Muslims and one in Europe. In Europe, it was Nostradamus, and in the subcontinent, it was Shah Nematullah Wali. It is important to understand that a prophecy and a true revelation are not the same. A prophet is recognized by the fact that he conveys knowledge that no one else possesses. Among the Israelites, there came a time when many prophets appeared, but alongside them were also many false claimants. In that era, truth could only be recognized through the message that came from God to a true servant. During the time of Prophet Daniel, peace be upon him, the king of Babylon, Belshazzar, saw a dream. He declared that he would only believe the person who could tell him his dream, not just its interpretation. Many false prophets were shocked. They said, "We can explain the meaning of a dream, but how can we tell the dream itself?" Then someone said, "There is a man among the Israelites, Daniel, who can tell both the dream and its meaning." Prophet Daniel was brought to the court. He narrated the dream and explained its meaning. After that, the Israelites were freed and returned to Jerusalem. Now, let us talk about Nostradamus, the famous seer of Europe. He was born in France, in a Jewish family, on December 14, 1503. Later, his father converted to the Catholic Christian faith. Nostradamus received his early education at home, then studied literature, history, astronomy, and other sciences of his time. He soon became famous as a physician who did not believe in the traditional practice of bloodletting. He treated thousands of patients during the plague, and due to his success, the French government granted him a lifetime pension. But in 1537, his wife and two daughters died of the same plague. Later, he remarried and had 6 more children. Nostradamus had a room dedicated only to meditation and writing. There was a bowl of water in that room, and it is said that he would gaze into it during meditation to focus his mind. Whatever he saw, heard, or felt, he wrote down in the form of poetry. Each poem had 4 lines, written in Old French with Latin and Greek words mixed in. In 1554, he began writing his famous book Centuries, which had 10 parts, each containing 100 poems. His followers believed that Nostradamus predicted many great historical events: the French Revolution, the discovery of America, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and the rise of Hitler. But his critics say that his words are so vague that any event can be fitted into them. His writings were in complex mixtures of Latin, Greek, and French, making them extremely difficult to interpret. If you have seen the 1980s film The Man Who Saw Tomorrow, you know that most of his prophecies turned out to be false. For example, he claimed that the Antichrist would appear in 1985. In European bookstores, his books are not found in the religion section but in the New Age section, meaning they are seen as mystical or imaginative literature rather than divine revelation. Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all agree that predicting the future based on astrology or stars is forbidden. In one hadith, it is said that whoever believes in astrologers denies God. Still, some of his followers treat Nostradamus almost like a prophet. He once said that a great power would rise in the East, one that would fall upon its enemies like a sword. He called this power the Antichrist. But in Islam, there is no such concept as an Antichrist in the Christian sense, because Muslims can never be against Jesus, peace be upon him. Nostradamus claimed that the Great War, Armageddon, would last 7 years, and the Antichrist would be defeated 3 times, but would rise again. He also said that the Muslim leader of these wars would not come from Arabia, but from regions like Turkey, Indonesia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Iran, and that this leader would conquer Europe. He also mentioned a blue-turbaned ruler, who would reign over Muslims for 29 years. He gave the date of this war as 1981, which has already passed. Another prophecy of Nostradamus is interesting. He wrote that a great European commander would drive the Muslims back and that this battle would take place near the river Ganges. Shah Nematullah Wali also said, the river of Atak will be filled with blood. Perhaps he too was referring to the great battle known as Ghazwa-e-Hind. During the Second World War, German forces distributed leaflets of Nostradamus' prophecies across France to demoralize people. Since then, his words have often been used as tools of propaganda. After every major disaster, people link one of his verses to it. But it is important to note that Nostradamus never clearly mentioned Jesus or Imam Mahdi. When we talk about the end of times, we must understand the meaning of time itself. For us, time is measured by clocks and calendars, but for God, time is something else. The Quran says, everything has an appointed time. Is there a time beyond the time we know, a dimension beyond human reach? The Quran tells us that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. According to science, one day in the sight of God could equal about 1 billion human years. This means the creation of the universe may have taken around 6 billion years. The Quran also says, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of your reckoning. Remember the story of Prophet Uzair, when he slept and woke up after 100 years, his son had become old, but he himself remained young. Similarly, God says, a night of worship is equal to 1,000 nights. This means that the measure of time in divine terms is not human but divine. The Quran speaks of the end of the sun, moon, and stars, but what comes after that, no one knows. Perhaps at that very moment, a new creation, a new universe, is being formed. In a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it is said that when the reckoning is complete and people enter paradise, God will create a new creation, and their judgment will also begin. So, the end of time may be the end of our world, but it could also be the beginning of another creation, another universe altogether.